Texas Tech, an early favorite to swipe the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year.
You are Locked On Texas Tech, your daily podcast on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Great to be with you again on Locked On Texas Tech on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, always free and available on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts. Now the number one sports podcast network in the world. I'm Casey Cowan, joined today by a special guest, a familiar face to many Red Raiders. If not, his name is Aaron Dickens, has covered the Red Raiders in college sports, I'm going to say for decades now, plural, Aaron, for Rivals.com. Been in the business for quite some time in the 806. And good to see you again, man, stepping in while Chris is on the move. And we're catching up on some portal activity. So appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, anytime. Always great to chat with you, Cowan. It seems like it's been forever. The plural decades part making me feel old here.
It is accurate, though, correct?
Technically, it's very accurate.
Yeah.
It's just, it's kind of scary.
It is what it is. It's good to see. You're still kicking and ticking and covering all things Texas Tech, college sports and beyond, really, but we'll confine it to the home front here today. On this episode, we're talking some initial portal rumbling activity and or targets. It's tea leaf time. We know that until you see some official indications, but predictions being lodged elsewhere regarding some names. One very, very prominent when it comes to a Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year that'll be involved in today's conversation. But I think, Aaron, also some early indications of what Texas Tech is prioritizing in some of these others that we can get to. And I think in general, we know because of the JT Toppin news, and there are things to do on the perimeter, but primarily because of the JT Toppin news, size was going to be on the shopping list and then some. So whether it is Kansas transfer Flory Bedunga or another name I want to get to in New Mexico freshman, and I'm going to have to look at my notes for this one, Slav Bullion. We're talking size, right? It seems like right off the bat, looking to shore up the front court.
Yeah, and it's kind of like in football, right? I mean, everyone's looking for size. Everyone's looking for shooting, athleticism. Much like in football, you're looking for big people, defensive linemen, edge rushers, offensive tackles. And so, I mean, these are really important big-time targets that are going to command a hefty price tag. And you're going to have to compete against a lot of other programs to get them. And, if you want to compete for a Big 12 championship again and kind of be in the mix and, in the fight, so to speak, in February and March, you'll need to win some of these battles, and we'll see if they can. But, price of oil is going up quite a bit. And, that's bad for a lot of things, but But for Texas Tech and the transfer portal, it might be good news.
I like the frame and the perspective, and you are correct.
Yeah. It's kind of like, silver lining. It's this terrible dark cloud that might affect a lot of things negatively, but you might win a national championship.
If you're in guns up country, you may feel a little bit differently about it.
Absolutely. So when you fill up, your truck or your car next time and you kind of wince, especially if it's a diesel, just, know that, hey, this stinks, but there's probably a benefit for the old Red Raiders.
Well, and I'm enjoying the thought, especially of some of our enemies going through this experience.
Yeah, there's no benefit for them.
Yeah, nothing at all. I just hope they know that they're contributing to the double T when they're doing it. Let's get
those stickers that you saw on like the gas pumps, and I'm not going to get political here. We should get ones with like McGuire and McCaslin that just say thank you.
I love it.
You just put those on stickers around the state.
Some enterprising Red Raider out there, surely.
I would buy one.
We'll pick up that and run with it. I absolutely think that's a great idea. Another great idea, swiping a Defensive Player of the Year from any conference, but from yours and from someone that you've seen on your schedule, Flory Bedunga, and this news kind of coming across the radar over the last maybe 24, 48 hours. There's even been, I guess, a prediction lodged from one writer. I'm not sure if he's a national guy or not. Where was he out of Maryland, I think, saying that
Maryland
is going to be the destination. Big time news if it does come to fruition. You already mentioned the price tag. That's going to be an incredibly large one. But you're thinking about what this could do in the intermediate here and maybe beyond whenever you consider with, like I already said, the news with JT Toppin and now what that's left you dealing with. Bedunga, for those who are not familiar, yes, the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. He goes 13-9, almost 3 blocks per game. And thinking that this time around, I'm already seeing mentioned, in addition to Texas Tech, Louisville, I'm seeing Duke, BYU in your league. Auburn, a previous, I think, possibility in a calendar gone by. I don't know if that's worth paying attention to, but this is as big of a fish as it gets, I think, right out of the gates.
You're going to be fishing in deep waters here, and the prediction is wild, right? Because I believe the person who placed that prediction covers Maryland for 247 Sports, and I don't know this person, and they might be super plugged in, but that just kind of goes to show how kind of crazy all this portal stuff is, because that could be a complete total guess, or he could have some kind of random in with Bedunga or his camp and is kind of flexing a little bit. I don't know, but either way, if you can land him, that's great. I mean, that provides a bridge for you if there is a situation where you can bring JT Toppin back after he kind of sits out this coming season while rehabbing that injury. It would be the perfect bridge. I can't imagine that Bedunga would be kind of inclined to stay in college basketball past next season. I would guess he'll probably look toward the NBA. And so if you can swing it, I don't know that you can, think of a better kind of setup here, given the hand that you've been dealt with Toppin.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I'm thinking when I start seeing this come across that, all right, well, here's a Christmas gift right under your tree somehow that's, like I said, out of the gates, something positive to think about. And who knows if you're able to make it come to fruition. But the understanding is the NIL is no obstacle in this type of instance. And I think a lot of that may have to do with the fit that comes with this player and what you're trying to fill when it comes to the void from JT Toppin. And I think, just speaking personally as a fan, I've been thinking a lot more maybe offensively about what you got to pick up as far as slack with JT sidelined, but defensively, look out. I don't even know if I've considered an ability to improve so dramatically in the form of one player like I think you could. Now lean in for this expert analysis with the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year.
And I think, too, Toppin, much like Bailey and Hunter and Heights on the football side of things, you have a body of work here that's pretty impressive. And you can say, listen, not only do we have deep pockets, right? Not only can we match or exceed, if we want to, any offer out there, right? You can come here, get a bag, and look what JT Toppin did in Lubbock, right? He was kind of a heralded transfer prospect out of New Mexico, but I don't think anybody was saying that this is a potential player of the year in college basketball when he transferred to Texas Tech. And yet, 2 years later, prior to the injury, he was in that conversation. And on the football side, right? David Bailey, Lee Hunter, Height. Listen, you can get a bag and come here and compare kind of where they were in the draft kind of boards before the season and now after, right? David Bailey was not some projected top 10 pick, this time last year, and he comes to Texas Tech, he gets his bag, but I think more importantly for the future, and I think a lot of these players are thinking about the future, the NBA in this case, or the NFL in Bailey's case, they want both, right? They want their cake and to eat it too. And so with, Bedunga or Bullion or whomever, you can say, listen, this is what we do, right? We pay a lot of money, we win a lot of games, and you can be developed here into something, greater than you were before.
Yeah, there's some proof of process that you now have to point to, thankfully, on several of those fronts that you're mentioning there. This would be a wish list kind of land, so stand by for this type of thing. I don't know if I'm necessarily ready to really begin to dream about him being a Red Raider, because like you said at the very beginning, you're going to be fishing in some deep waters. But who knows? You got something great to offer. I said that a couple of days ago. Even though it's kind of daunting in what you're trying to replace and things like that, you've got a great situation to offer. And we also knew that when you're trying to replace somebody like JT Toppin for the time being, you're going to be looking at the top shelf. And here we go. Here's some top shelf stuff to think about. Let's continue with the size theme, because certainly the front court of incredible interest, not only because of Toppin, but just in general. I think you left some things there to be desired this season. Some of that due to things out of your control with some bad health luck and things like that with Luke Bomboye, Josiah Mosley. You don't really get to know them till later in the year. Tomislav Bullion, a freshman out of New Mexico, all Mountain West Conference guy. Croatia, the home country.
The pride of Split, Croatia.
Chris told us to look across the Atlantic. Now, he's already come here by way of New Mexico, but maybe this ties into that theme. Interested in any heralded Mountain West Conference player, I got to say, Aaron, especially the young ones. I'm thinking about a Mountain West Conference Freshman of the Year in Darion Williams, the aforementioned JT Toppin, doing some work in Albuquerque as well prior to his run. So this guy definitely piquing my interest, and close to, or maybe right at about a double-double guy last year.
Only player in the Mountain West to average a double-double last year, 13 points, 10 rebounds. And, I mean, you mentioned young. I mean, he's 23, right? So, may have just been a freshman, but he's got some age to him, kind of the best of both worlds as we see.
That's true. Can we develop him into his early 30s?
I mean, maybe we're talking about him and decades of experience down the line.
Didn't the 25-year-old just win a title?
Maybe he can get a car and drive people around pretty soon. So, and I think age is important. I mean, we've talked about this ever since, basketball transfers kind of became a thing. I mean, back even when Chris Beard was the head coach. I mean, they always want to get age on the roster. And, I mean, this is kind of the best of both worlds. He can clearly score. He can clearly rebound. And while he may not be, as top shelf as Bedunga, I mean, you've done okay with New Mexico transfers before. And, he was on a really, really good team, was a big part of their success. And I think you could do a lot worse than Bullion.
No question. And this is the type of guy that we've talked about, Grant McCaslin and company really being after. Guys that have some time to develop and have excelled in a group of five type of setting thus far. And even though the age, a little bit of a misnomer as far as the youth is concerned, time to develop still intact. So definitely one to pique some interest. And while we've talked a lot about what's happening on the interior, wanted to step outside before we wrap up our conversation, because I think this guy, a really interesting one for reasons having to do with replacing some shooting on the perimeter. First, today's episode brought to you by Robinhood. What if sports were traded like markets? Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood prediction markets. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions live all game long. Use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. Robinhood prediction markets changes the game. It's people moving the action, so when momentum shifts, you can move with it. Always knew the game, but never had a dynamic way to apply that knowledge. Now I can actually take part live in a market powered by people. You're no longer just a spectator, play-by-play. You decide. Trade every play with Robinhood. Now available across the U.S. Download the Robinhood app now. To begin, futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are here, where every possession matters, every matchup is magnified, and every game can swing a series. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a great way to get in on the action. And with their app, it makes it easy to follow all of it with player stats, trends, matchups, all in one place, electrifying your entire playoff experience from start to finish. Head to FanDuel.com to get started today. That's FanDuel.com to get started today, or download the FanDuel mobile app. With FanDuel, play your game. Replacing some shooting on the perimeter that we expect to have to replace. We know that's going to be the case with Donovan Atwell and Christian Anderson, thought to be bound for professional opportunity, though that not officially confirmed as we're having this conversation at least. But a candidate out of Liberty, Aaron, has come on the radar for Red Raider fans. Brett Decker Jr., who was a sophomore last season, 47% is the number from beyond the arc. He was an all-conference guy in Conference USA. I just want to throw in his home origin, because we've talked Croatia. I don't know if we talked Congo for Mr. Bedunga, but this man's from Kentucky. Just all due respect to Kentucky. Just want to include it for posterity.
Shout out to the Colonel. Yeah.
But those three-point shooting numbers will get anybody's attention.
It's incredible. I mean, 2 years of eligibility left, so potentially someone you could play with next year alongside JT Toppin. I mean, if things work out, obviously cart well before the horse there, but he's a top 100 player in the portal right now. Great shooter. I don't think that you can really overstate how good of a shooter he is. His splits are very, very impressive. And not only that, he's a low turnover, low foul player. I think he's someone that could do a lot of good here in Lubbock, a lot of good, a lot of places. But if you're looking for shooting, I don't know that you'll find many better in this class of portal transfers, at least the players that we know are going to be in there than Mr. Decker.
Well, we've talked about some of those that are kind of on the front line and replacing some impact, type of guys, but we're also going to have to make room to consider several others that you're looking to rebuild. They're going to be coming off the bench. So I'm going to be curious to see kind of where Texas Tech is, casting some attention, because there are mucho minutes to replace there. And I mean, Chris and I have been talking about this week, just the small number of guys that you feel like you are going to build with or around, whichever way you want to describe that. But if we're talking about guys like Jalen Petty and Josiah Mosley and yeah, you get the idea.
Yeah, right.
You need guys to fill unis. I mean, somebody's got to play 6 minutes. We can't all be talking about potential all-conference guys, right?
It's it has to be. I'm a worrier. I just am. Like I will sit and worry about things that are weeks or months away. I dwell. It's a character flaw. I'm very glad that I'm not a college basketball coach. I just couldn't handle it. It's got to be exciting on one level because the possibilities are endless, especially if you're at a program like Texas Tech that is extremely well funded and has great facilities and great people around it. And it makes it super exciting as a fan too, because again, it's back to your Christmas analogy earlier. You're for sure going to get some presents, but you don't know if it's going to be like the Etch-a-Sketch or like the Power Wheel, So we're hoping for Power Wheels. We'll see if you get an Etch-a-Sketch or two.
Could we get some updated references? I mean, I did talk about your decades plus of covering cup, but Etch-a-Sketch?
They don't have Power Wheels anymore?
I'm not even sure they had Power Wheels when I was coming up. I thought we were near the same age.
Oh man, you were missing out. Like the little Jeeps and stuff that you would drive.
With the battery
power. Yeah.
My bad. Yeah, I'm thinking of the big wheel, the 3-wheel motion with the super big one.
No, that's older than me. Yeah, sure.
Okay, now you're throwing it back my way. Good point to wrap up the program. Aaron, it was good to visit with you. We're going to visit again as we roll through the week here. So looking forward to it, and we'll see you for the next one. Appreciate AD and appreciate all of you for being out there. Get subscribed on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts so you never miss an episode. Thanks to the everydayers and the all-the-timers for always being along for the ride. If that is you, check out the newly launched Everydayer Club. $5 a month gets you ad-free audio episodes and more. Find a link to that in our show notes. And while you're there, find a link to a free 14-day trial to check out the Matador Mob, your direct line to Chris and myself with one-on-one text sent straight to your phone. For Chris, I'm Casey, who's not here, and Aaron Dickens, who did show up for the show. We hope to see you back for the next round on Locked On Texas Tech.